Munson Orthopedic Institute in Prudenville, where I'm accepting new patients. Get started by requesting your consultation at munsonhealthcare.org/MOI.
Wintertime fun awaits in the Côte d'Amarie Ski Loppet at Hanson Hills in Grayling. Compete January 18th on cross-country ski courses ranging from 7.5K to 26K for Michigan Cup races. Divisions for all ages and skill levels. Sign up for the Côte d'Amarie Ski Loppet by January 16th at hansonhills.org to be a part of the fun. Chip-timed waves begin at 10 a.m. on the beautifully scenic course at Hanson Hills in Grayling. Get all the details at hansonhills.org. It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
Brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Start your stress-free car shopping experience when you search Sarah Kalkaska and Sarah Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And JC, it was another battle of TC West, TC Central, and as of late, TC West has owned that rivalry.
Yeah, you know, Coach Bauman, when we first started doing TC West Sports, is when Bauman first started.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
The program, coaching the boys program at Traverse City West, and he created a culture. He's created a culture, you know.
Exactly.
I'm not drawing any comparisons to the Lions, but
culture matters.
Culture matters. And, you know, this is the way we do things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as we were just saying just before we went on the air, they're just a better team right now.
They are. They are, absolutely. And, you know, Central made it interesting a few times and getting within 3 and just couldn't quite get over that hump. And, of course, they have a new head coach in Luke Johnson, who he himself is going to create a new culture there.
Yeah.
And he's in, and a very resembles very much what West looked like when Bauman took over.
I think that's a very good comparison. They don't have the same horses. I mean,
right.
Pretty much from, you know, you were in the gym. I watched most of it from our broadcast on Up North Sports. They really had the advantage at every single position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not a great advantage. They don't have a superstar.
Exactly.
But neither does Central, and they work better as a unit. And the plays they run, they get more effectively open offensively, and they're a little bit better defensively.
Yeah, they are, exactly. Neither team has a great height advantage.
No.
Neither one is a big team, like when you see a Cadillac or things like that. But yeah, West just able to
West defensive switches were sharper.
Yes, they were.
You know,
exactly.
yeah.
It's like they have four guys probably that just can just do that bump switch type situation, and you don't lose a beat defensively at all.
And that's, you know, when Central got closer, West would run a set that Central missed the switch.
Yep.
It worked out exactly the way it was designed to.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like they're throwing the ball to Michael Jordan and, you know, and he's taking
right.
care of it. But they know their team. They know what they can get away with. And the other thing, Rich, that's really interesting, and you and JJ probably know this way better than I do, is they have a kind of a knack. If they run a play and it doesn't work, like there's the second option in there,
mm-hmm.
still can be successful.
Right.
And that's the mark of a really good basketball team.
It is, exactly. What's really impressed me is the patience on offense.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden, you know, the first 3 or 4 passes aren't working, there's nothing moving yet, but they still stay with it, or they adjust to another play. And again, then the defense, well, you're just looking for that one advantage, and the defense can't stay in that tight man-to-man like they usually can.
Yeah.
And like you said, they miss an assignment for a split second, and that's all you needed for them to drive to the hole.
I mean, it's a really well-coached team. And the reserve pieces come in and do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Give quality minutes.
Yep.
Blake Lefebvre last night, I mean, 6 foot tall kid that played was a gunner big time at the JV level, is playing good defense, scored 9 last night, gets some rebounds as a 6-footer, and knows his role right now. He'll be the point guard next year at this team. but does this role right now very well.
Yeah, and West got most of the loose balls when they really needed them.
Yes.
It was just one of those things. Like you guys called a great game, and Central hung around the whole time, but like you said, they couldn't get over the hump, and and they got a little frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've played hard. They've had some nice wins.
Yes.
They've got a new coach with, like you said, starting a new culture. They wanted to beat their rival, very, very badly. But even in the gym, it was, number one, it wasn't packed. I was surprised at that.
Right.
Yeah.
It was not at, even though the newspaper tries to sell it as a full capacity, it wasn't there.
No, it was about 3/4
Yes.
full. It will be the rafters when they play in a couple weeks at West. But I think the team, they obviously had high expectations. I didn't get to see the beginning of the game,
Mm-hmm.
but by the time I tuned in and everything else, it seemed like the audience, the crowd knew before Central knew that they weren't going to win the game.
Right, exactly.
Wasn't that weird?
It is kind of unusual for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what, winning, I mean, this is 8 wins in a row now for West as far as in this season, losing their first game to a good Grand Haven team, and then so they're on an 8-game winning streak. They're just, it's like the West crowd is just, we're going to win this. We're a better second half team than we are a first half team. And they just kind of count on that now coming through. And this is what the thing. We have Coach Ballman on the post-game interview here with his thoughts on that big win against Central. Rich Calkins, the Doug Ballman here, and a trio of players as well. I'll introduce them in a moment. But, Coach, another hard-fought victory over Central. The kids were just talking, I believe it's your fourth in a row.
That's what the Record Eagle was saying as well, and there was a few years there that we went without a win. So for these boys to come in and do what they've done here over the last, few games against Central's nice. I'm real happy for them.
Yeah, a real balanced scoring attack tonight. A lot of rebounds by Mason Zimmerman, Blake LaFave, guys like that, and holding Owen Reibel down to 9 points. That was the key to the victory.
Yeah, that was. We just did a really good job. That's always going to be our assignment, right? Finding their score and try to shut them down. I thought Winslow did an excellent job. Really frustrated him, couldn't get a lot of shots off. But then when we switched, Mason would take him, Lincoln would take him, Blake would take him, Carter Grubb stepped out. Like there was just a rotation of everybody. Really had that team effort to restrict what he wanted and put him into what we wanted.
Yeah. Coach, you know Luke Johnson very well, known for his full court pressure, things like that. Really did use it till the very end of the game tonight.
Yep, and I think that there was some mismatches that we were able to take advantage of, and knowing that probably, helped him make a decision not to go. I just think we would have been able to get downhill pretty quickly on them, which at times in the second half we did. We spread it out, we tried to get downhill. That's kind of when we went on that run. We were a little stagnant, and then got some good buckets going downhill. Got an and one there. When in the third quarter, I think Lincoln or Mason had an and one going in the basket. So, again, just has nothing to do with me. Has everything to do with these boys and the pride that they put into playing basketball.
Coach, a little bit of home cooking now. What do we have? I think there's 5 in a row now at home coming
Pretty
up.
close, yeah. Midland and then Petoskey, and then after that, I'll be honest, I'm not sure. I kind of take one game at a time and just prepare and hope that we can continue to roll and fix some of the things that we need to and improve on the areas that are a little shortcomings for us.
Yep, Coach. Of course, you named the Jimmy John's player of the game. Who are you going to go with?
I think we're going to go with the trio here. We're going to say players today. It was hard to pick. They all had almost double digits. Steals, defensive effort, rebounds. It was too hard really to not pick one of these three. So I picked them all. I think they're very deserving as seniors coming in to always a hostile environment.
Sure.
With a lot on the line. They want to win this conference championship and they have to do it on the road. And this was one of those. So all three of them definitely are deserving. So I'm going to cheat the system this time and go with all three of them.
It's all good, Coach. All good. 8-1 now. Great start to the, now we're moving towards the middle ranks of the season, and boy, the kids are playing really well overall.
Again, credit to them. They come in every day at practice and put a lot of effort in, and You know, we were short on the bench today just because of what we were looking for, but I can't stress enough how important those bench players are for us in practice. You know, they're constantly just dogging these guys, making them better. You know, Graham Hetherington is out there, Cam Tkach is out there, Noah Sletter, Ashton, you know, you name it, going down that list, Jacob Banish. We have really good, hard-fought practices, and these are the results during the game. So I'd be remiss if I don't talk about the guys that don't necessarily see the game time, but improve our ability to get better.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Coach. We'll get a hold of you next week for a pregame show, but as always, go West.
Go West.
All right,
job, fellas.
All right. Lincoln Lockhart joining us here on the Michigan Trailers postgame show. Lincoln, you mentioned it 4 in a row now, so have you been a part of all 4 of those wins?
For sure. I think my sophomore year, we lost the first game, and you know we knew they escaped with one, and then we brought it back to them the second time, and that kind of started the streak. But once, you know, I think they were on JV my sophomore year, or Mason was at least, but once we got our group back together, we knew as soon as we would play them, we knew they didn't want to play us. Right,
exactly. Great win. What do you think the key was tonight in the victory here at Central?
I think, we just locked down on defense. We rebounded fairly well from what we had the past few games, and I think, like Coach said, shutting down a rival, that was their guy, and we knew if we shut him down that no one else was going to really do anything, and we did that tonight.
Well, congrats on the win. You're a senior, and you're getting lots of Jimmy Johns coming your way, and more importantly, lots of wins as well.
For sure.
All right, congratulations. Pass that over to Mason Zimmerman. Good job, Lincoln. Mason, hey, quality win here at Central. It's always so much fun to win against Central.
Oh, for sure.
So going in, what was that from your viewpoint? What was the key to the win tonight?
It's a game of runs. Central fought back hard, but it's all how you respond, and I think we responded great. Our defense was amazing. We rebounded and we pushed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Got chippy a little bit down there a couple different times, but you kind of expect that with the big crosstown rivalry game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, Mason, you guys have been working hard. Congratulations on the 8-1 record right now. Let's keep it rolling.
Yep.
All right, congratulations. You too got Jimmy John's coming your way.
Thank you.
All right. Winslow Robinson joining us now on the post-game show. Winslow, good to have you up here, bud. Really been scoring pretty much consistently now in double figures the last 3-4 games. What's been the key? You're just kind of finding your stroke and your confidence now?
A little bit finding my stroke. I'm getting better at, attacking the rim, getting some layups. Last year I'd say I was primarily a three-point shooter, but tonight, I only had, 1 3-point attempt, but a lot of layups.
Right.
And which I think helps me, diversify.
And they count on you so much on the defensive end. It's really hard to have enough energy on the offensive end with what they usually put you on the best player from the opposite team. So that's got to take a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah, the coach is definitely trying to get me in shape here in practice, no doubt, playing a lot of defense.
Yeah, well, congratulations on a big win against Central. Again, you too get Jimmy John's coming your way. So congratulations on that, and congrats on another big win. Let's get another one Tuesday night against Midland.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, you bet. Winslow Robinson, all 3 of these guys. It's been great interviewing, a great win here against TC Central. That was Coach Doug Ballman there after that big win last night against Traverse City Central, a 53-45 win. And so now West has got 5 games in a row at home, JC, for a little home cooking.
Well, that they're going to have Cadillac in that they have. It's not like they have a bunch of layups coming into the
Midland
gym.
starts it off, and then Petoskey on Friday night.
Yeah.
So a Tuesday, Friday, Midland, Saginaw Valley fall in football,
Yeah,
of course.
Petoskey's a quality basketball team.
They are for sure. And then Gaylord, and then Grand Rapids, Forest Hills Northern comes in. Sault Ste. Marie, who's struggling, and then we go back on the road the 31st of January, and that is at Cadillac.
That's the Cadillac. That's
Yes.
the rematch.
Yes.
We've been talking a little bit between ourselves about Cadillac struggling a little bit. I think Coach Benzenberg is missing Charlie Howell a little bit more than they thought. When you have somebody that can fix a lot of your problems.
That's right. He really covered up. He was a makeup artist because he covered up a lot of blemishes. They've lost 3 in a row now.
Oh, they lost last night.
They lost, they've lost to Coopersville, Greenville, and Kalamazoo Loy Norris.
Okay.
So that's
I know that those are all quality
teams. When you say that Loy Norris team of Kalamazoo traditionally has been a very good, showed up at a lot of Final Fours in Michigan.
Yeah, and Coach Benzenberg, now that they are, Division I, he scheduled a lot of quality non-conference opponents to keep the team sharp. Right. But this is, we're getting into Tom Izzo territory. How many losses do you want to take, building up to the play? We're going to be battle tested in the playoffs, but sometimes if you don't win a number of those teams, you just are losers.
You end up losing your confidence a little bit. There's a fine line between getting that experience against really good teams or taking away the confidence.
But you don't pull out one or two of those wins, and you're like, well, we're just not great.
Yeah. They're going to go in. I mean, they're used to going into the tournaments with 1 or 2 losses the last few years. That's how they've been. And like you said, with Charlie Howell at the helm, and now it's going to be a different team. But we've seen before a lot of 6, 8 loss teams go into the tournament and go on a big time run.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean,
that was you, really.
That was us. Yeah, we had 6 or 8 losses when we started the state tournament in '77. But we were playing in the Catholic League. And,
of course, yeah. Everyone beats each other.
Yeah, it's like like what's going to happen in the SEC in basketball this year.
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah, no one's coming out unscathed.
No, I mean, no, they're not. Tennessee got boat raced in the conference on Tuesday. They're the number 1 team in the country. They were 13-0, and they lost by 30.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just that goes to show you what's happening.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Sorry to reference college basketball, folks. I know this is the high school scoreboard show.
But we do have another high school coach coming up next. We have Luke Johnson from Traverse City Central. We'll get his perspective on what he saw from his team. I know he's happy with that defensive effort they put forth. And
there was a lot of times when West did not get off the shot that they wanted. They couldn't get the ball to the player at the time when they wanted enough to. I'm sure we'll find out from Coach Johnson, but yeah, it was a rock fight for a decent amount of that time. But like I said, it just never seemed that they were going to get over the hump. They didn't get the one big steal.
Exactly.
To
kind of
or hit the 3.
And have that crowd just go crazy, and then just you couldn't stop.
I mean, what did they shoot from 3?
Oh, I don't even know percentage-wise.
It wasn't
Coach
good.
Luke will know.
Yeah.
He'll know at the game. So you're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Hi folks, Jim Jeffries for Michigan Trailers in Traverse City, Northern Michigan's volume leading utility trailer dealer. We have over 200 trailers in stock from America's top brands including SureTrack, Impact, Cargomax, and now offering Air Tow. All clearly marked at volume value pricing. Add to that full service, parts, plus accessories, and Michigan Trailers can solve all your hauling needs. See us today on US 31 South across from Menards, Traverse City, or visit us online at michigantrailers.com.
Sarah Ford in Gaylord and Kalkaska kicks off 2025 with super lease deals that you can't pass up. Like a 2024 Ford Bronco Sport for an astounding $345 per month with any trade-in. Sarah has amazing lease deals on the fantastic Ford Escape as low as just $289 per month with your trade-in. Slightly higher for non-Ford employees. Visit Sarah Ford in Gaylord or Kalkaska to find the best price, best rates, and best vehicle selection in the North. Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Kalkaska. Sarah-tees it.
Has a sports injury slowed you down? Hi, I'm Dr. Grant Carey, an orthopedic surgeon at Munson Orthopedic Institute. Specially trained in sports medicine and an athlete myself, I'm committed to helping athletes like you recover from debilitating injuries. Are you ready to get back to your favorite sport? I'm here to support your recovery with expert care. Visit me at Munson Orthopedic Institute in Prudenville, where I'm accepting new patients. Get started by requesting your consultation at munsonhealthcare.org/MOI.
Hey, it's Anthony Bellino from Spin on Sports, Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 right here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Whether it's Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Michigan State, the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, all the headlines, all the stories, and always Michigan teams first. It's all right here on Spin on Sports, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard locally on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you, and joining us now on the phone is head coach of Traverse City Central, Luke Johnson. And Luke, you guys battled all game long last night, but came up on the short end of the 53-45 score.
Yeah, just really proud of our kids and how they kind of hung in there. There were a couple times that I think we could have let the game kind of slip away from us, but we continued to just fight and defend, and just really proud of our kids.
Yeah, Coach. West. You guys got to within 2 or 3 a couple different times, Coach, and West tried to knock you guys out a few times, but just couldn't do it. And it does say a lot about your team never giving up there.
Yeah, we went down. It was I vividly remember it, 29-14. I think it's at some point in the second quarter. Just thinking, man, we can go one of two ways here. We can continue to battle and try to get ourselves back into this, or we can fold and go down 25. And really proud of our kids. We cut it to 5 at half. It really stayed, anywhere in that 4 to 5 point range the entire game. They made a couple free throws down the end to make it 8, but in a 2 to 3 possession game, a made or missed shot is really big, and just really proud of our kids.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, looking at the quarter scores on my notes here, West was up by 5 at halftime. Third quarter, same thing, 5 points. I mean, again, kept it close in a defensive struggle all night long.
Yeah, and we didn't shoot the ball particularly well. We had some of that because of just some poor shot selection. Some of it we just didn't make shots. We haven't really shot the ball well the last 3 games. And for whatever reasons, we've got guys that are playing different positions because we've had some sickness running through us and some injuries, and so for whatever reason, we didn't shoot the ball well, and we didn't get to the free throw line enough.
Well, yeah, Coach, more shots go in the hole. It solves a lot of problems. Seemed to me that West was pretty effective in keeping you guys from getting to spots where you wanted to take your shots.
Yeah, and I think, give them a lot of credit. They defend. They switch a lot of screens.
Yeah, they do.
And our guys, I felt, didn't help us. We didn't move real well. There were spurts where we just didn't move well without the ball. Kind of became stagnant. And, you live and learn. They're senior-led, and Doug and I talked about that before the game. That he's got 4 seniors that he really relies on, and they do a bulk of their work. And we've got one that produces for us a lot, and another one that plays off the bench. And other than that, we're freshmen and juniors. So just guys with not a lot of experience, and we'll continue to get better.
No, Rich and I were talking about this in the first segment that when we first started broadcasting West games, Coach Bauman just started there, and he's created a culture. And I think, that not that you're going to model it after him, but I think you're stepping in there and it's something you've got to start.
Yeah, and Doug and I have talked about it a lot. Doug and I go back 30 years ago. We played AAU basketball together and been good friends for a long time. We talked about that, just kind of creating a culture, and it's not overnight.
No.
I have these guys for 30 practices, right? So it's not going to happen overnight. But I'm, really proud of the strides we've taken in these, first couple months. And that goes all the way down to our youth program. So, because it truly is a program. And Doug talked to me last night a little bit about it. He said, when I took over, it's a 3-year project. Give me 3 years to kind of get things where they need to be. And so I'm really proud of where we are at this point.
Yeah, Luke, that's exactly, you took the words out of my mouth. When you're building a program, it goes all the way down to that youth level, 3rd, 4th grade, and teaching them some of the fundamentals that you're going to want them to have by the time they get to you at that varsity level. So your freshman, JV, all have to run the same thing so they know exactly what to expect once you get them.
Yeah, and that's building the program. Having kids that you don't have to reteach things at the next level, or teach them things that they should already know. So we're working towards it, and we'll get there.
Or you can just get into the transfer portal and get a star, Coach. You can do that.
It looks like everybody else does it downstate. Geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, coming up next, Luke, of course, a team you're very familiar with. You used to wear the uniform. You host the Gaylord Blue Devils at home.
Yeah, and they've been playing well as of late. They're on a 3 or 4 game winning streak. They've scored some points. They beat Petoskey at Petoskey on Thursday night, I believe it was.
Yeah, big win.
Yep.
It's going to be a game we're going to have to be ready. And I'm hoping, everything else aside, I'm hoping we're healthy. That's, we haven't been for the last 3 weeks, and I'm really hoping that, with this weekend giving our guys off, we can get over the flu that's running through our team. We can get some ankle injuries kind of fixed and be able to come out and ready to go and make a nice run here these last 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, Coach, I don't know if you followed the Gilo kid from Gaylord the last few years who played there, and now he's playing at Oakland University, and he'll learn some basketball for sure from down there.
Oh, for sure. One of the head assistants there, Jeff Smith, is a guy that was an assistant when I was at CMU. Guy that just great basketball knowledge, and obviously Coach Campy too.
Yeah.
He's going to learn. He's and he's got a lot of skills and things that you can't teach. His size, his length, his athleticism. You just can't teach that. And so. He's got an upside to it. It's up to him whether or not he puts in the work to kind of get there.
Yeah, we know Coach Campy well. Thank you.
Yeah.
We actually had a very interesting discussion about Gilo with Coach on the air.
Yeah.
And so
back when recruiting days. Yeah.
So I won't reveal everything. It was just it was kind of never mind.
Yeah.
So, Coach, when you obviously it's a big rivalry, Central West. You guys get a chance to get them again. What was the feeling like in the locker room afterwards?
Obviously disappointed. I think our kids are competitors and they want to win. And so am I. And so it was a pretty quiet locker room, but also a locker room that understood that there were a lot of things that we could have done. To maybe change the outcome of the game, right? Besides making shots, getting defensive spot. When it's a 2 or 3 possession game like it was, you get a rebound here, or you get a loose ball here, or you make a tough shot here. Then it's a different game. So, that's the tough part that comes with coming out on the other side. Is you get to live with, oh man, if I would have done this, man, if I would have done that, right? So going 5 for 25 from the 3, that's just not us. And so we'll go back to the drawing board and get better.
Yeah, I thought that your 3-point shooting was woeful to say the least.
We had open shots. We got some open shots. Some of them were forced, but we had some really good looks otherwise, and we just didn't make them. When we got some guys that went 0 for 4 or 1 for 7 or whatever, it just wasn't typical of us. And I think we're going to be better because of it, to be honest with you.
Well, back in your playing days, as a shooter, they don't start falling in, and it kind of is like a virus for that game. It's hard to break out of poor shooting.
Yeah, and it just takes 1 or 2 to go, and hopefully you can get on a rhythm. And we just didn't quite get there last night. Yeah,
Luke, I know it was your guys' first conference game last night, but it really looks like it's going to be one of 5 teams at the end between West, Cadillac, Gaylord, yourself, and Petoskey. Everyone basically but Alpena is going to be in it to the end.
Yeah, it's and that's the parity within our conferences, and it's tough to go on the road. It is tough to go on the road and win at some of those places. To take a bus trip, even to Alpena.
Yeah,
right? It's just that's a long trip.
They got big country in the middle there. I call him that kid. Always, he's an agitator. He just he fits Alpena perfectly. It's always a really fun game when you play them.
Yeah. So to go to Petoskey or go to Gaylord, those are just tough places to go and get wins. But so there is a lot of parity and a lot can happen. And Cadillac, they're going to grind games out. So you got to be ready every night.
Yep. Coach, well, we appreciate you joining us. Good luck next week against Gaylord and Alpena, and we appreciate you sharing a few minutes here on the Scoreboard Show.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate everything you do for Northern Michigan and basketball and our student athletes.
All right, you bet. Luke Johnson.
Thank you, Coach.
Traverse City
Thanks,
Central.
Guys.
Yep. Luke's a great guy. Again, starting over, knew Luke back in his Elk Rapids days when he was coaching there, and then he did a great job there. They had a lot of success when he was there, and I expect the same thing at Central.
Yeah, like he said, they shot the ball incredibly poorly and were in the game.
Yeah.
So, obviously Coach Bauman is happy to get the win, but I guarantee you when he looks at the film today, that's the first thing that's going to come out at him is like, well, they shot the ball for crap.
That's right.
And they were right there.
Yeah. So
imagine 5 for 25.
Yeah. If they.
If I'm coaching that team, like, well, we're going to stop shooting the three.
Yeah.
Even in this, three happy basketball game, you're like, no, we got to get back inside and get some easy points in the paint.
This three happy era we live in now, that everybody passing up layups to kick it out to the open three. I just
still drives me crazy.
I think of some of the coaches I played for. You would have sat on the bench and never gotten off the bench again.
I love the guys that have they have the fast break, and they pull up for the three.
Pull up for the three. Or they give up baseline on a regular basis. That's a cardinal sin back in the day. You would sit on the bench. You can't give up baseline. But nowadays, it's like they allow it, and it's just, I don't understand some of it. It's
I don't understand.
So
get off my lawn.
That's right. That is old guy get off my lawn stuff right there. Okay, I'm done off my soapbox for now. But when we come back on the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, we'll have Pat Schultz, the head coach of the Gaylord St. Mary's girls program. He's got a great thing going there in Gaylord. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Sarah Ford in Gaylord and Kalkaska kicks off 2025 with super lease deals that you can't pass up. Like a 2024 Ford Bronco Sport for an astounding $345 per month with any trade-in. Sarah has amazing lease deals on the fantastic Ford Escape as low as just $289 per month with your trade-in. Slightly higher for non-Ford employees. Visit Sarah Ford in Gaylord or Kalkaska to find the best price, best rates, and best vehicle selection in the North. Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Kalkaska. Sarah tease it.
Take a trip down memory lane with Blast to the Past at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Join us for the 1950s puzzle competition every Friday in January from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Each hour, 2 guests will be drawn to compete in solving the puzzle to win a share of $30,000 in premium play. Take a trip down memory lane with Blast to the Past only at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
The temperatures may be dropping, but Mahindra's holiday deals are coming in hot. Right now, get 0% for 84 months on the all-new 1100 series, 2100 series, and more. Plus, get up to $4,000 cash back on select models and no payments for 90 days on any purchase. Get yourself a gift that'll keep giving all year round.
Visit your Mahindra dealer at Zaremba Equipment in Gaylord or online at zarembaequipment.com or Pioneer Diesel in Traverse City or pioneerdiesel.com. Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Shopping can be fun, unless you're shopping for insurance. Trying to compare policies can be confusing. Cornell Agency wants to be your personal insurance shopper. Auto, home, life, and recreational vehicles, health, Medicare, and even business. They handle it all. Cornell works with multiple insurance companies, so you know their rates will always be competitive, friendly, knowledgeable, and there when you need them. Give Cornell Agency a call at 989-348-6761. That's 989-348-6761.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is the head coach of the Gaylord St. Mary's Lady Snowbirds, Pat Schultzen. Pat, you got the Snowbirds at a 7-1 record, with the only blemish coming against a very good Muskegon Mona Shores team.
Yeah, we've had a pretty decent week coming out of break. We put a lot of work in over Christmas break, a lot of specific work on some things that we felt that we weren't doing very well, and our first game out against Donaway this week went okay. We had some foul trouble. We weren't really pleased about that. We had 2 starters, 4 fouls, like in the third quarter, so we had to shuffle the lineup. So that always adjusts what you're able to do, because we're pretty young after that. So we got out of there okay, and then we played East Jordan the other day, and fortunately we all stayed out of foul trouble and healthy, and put a good 4 quarters together. Probably the most complete 4 quarters that this group has had this year so far.
Yeah, that was a dominating 60-21 win, Coach, there for sure. And it looks like, not to get too far ahead of yourself or any of that, but Inland Lakes looked like they've got some good things going this year.
Yeah, they're having a good year. There's this league, again, I don't think there's like one clear-cut team that's running away with it. I think there's several teams that are tough. I mean, they had a tough game with Onaway 2 days after we played them. So, yeah, it's just you gotta play 4 quarters of basketball, or I guess 4 quarters of the other teams. And that's kind of what we're still pretty young, so we're still trying to get that consistency over 32 minutes, which has been something that has kind of hurt us, earlier this year and last year. Just kids staying disciplined through 32 minutes, because we're so thin with numbers. We just, like Indian River has, they got 10, 12 kids. We have 7 kids total, and we got 1 injured right now, and another one who's having some other health problems. So we are thin, to say the least. So we're really trying to preach discipline with our kids defensively and offensively, and we need to keep everyone on the court right now.
Right. Now, Coach, you mean actually other teams can scrimmage against each other?
What do you? Oh,
well,
yeah,
meaning like you guys don't have that luxury of doing that, but other teams can do that.
I got coaches in there. I mean, me and the other 50-year-old coaches are in there, and I got a bad knee surgery. It's awful. I mean, it is so hard to prep our team to play somebody when you don't have anything to go up against. It's basically, we video it, we write it up, and we walk through a lot of stuff, but you know how much benefit there is to seeing things live and in real time, and it's just so hard to do that with so few kids. But anyway, it is what it is. That's just the nature of the beast of St. Mary's.
Right.
So we are just going to keep plowing through.
I guess it's good that Ava came back, Coach.
Yeah, we had Ava back and a couple of other former players back here and there over break, so we were able to get some actually really good scrimmages in. Our new assistant coach, Avery Bevel, who's been with us all year, she'll run with us, and she's still, I mean, she just had a kid 5 months ago, but she's still exceptionally good basketball player. So she's been like just a breath of fresh air for these girls. Having a female on staff, I think, is just fantastic to begin with, and she's knowledgeable. She's freshly out of the game, so she's bringing a completely different perspective to these kids that we haven't had before. So that has been a huge godsend for us this year.
Right. Now, Coach, I mean, you could get Rich Moffitt out there to help you out, Coach. I'm not sure he can get up and down the floor anymore, but some of your half-court sets, he might be able to help out.
You're right. I should. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think he was helping Dale.
Okay.
He was at least earlier in the year.
Good.
I'm not sure if he's starting.
Yeah, I know they were kicking that around,
right.
so yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Coach, so what has been the biggest surprise for this team? I know you're young, but your record belies its youth.
Well, so I guess if I don't know if this is going to directly answer your question. Our biggest struggle is like I said earlier. I mean, we have to be disciplined just because our numbers are what they are.
Right.
We have to be real disciplined in what we do, and in past years, like when I had Ava's group, and I mean we were running 8, 9, 10 kids sometimes, and you can play that up tempo game on both sides of the ball, and first available shot was good, we take it. We were just trying to play the possession game with the teams, and we would just try to outrun them and outwork them. And it worked on the vast majority of the teams that we played, but when you're looking at 5 or 6, sometimes 7 healthy bodies, it's hard to play that game. It's hard to ask the girls to do, my style, the stuff I like to do, and get so few breaks. I mean, the law of diminishing returns after a while. I mean, it's not that they're not trying anymore, but there's so much in your gas tank. So we've had to, this year, try to be more disciplined. We've tried to work a little bit better in the half court, dead ball situation. We still will look to be opportunistic and attack and transition on the offense, but when it's appropriate, we need to pull it out. Just try to be more efficient with what we do and cut our turnovers down. And some games we're good at that, other games we're not. But I mean, I think that's been that and half court defense has been a huge emphasis for us this year. We've put so much time into it, and we're better at it, but we're nowhere near kind of where that needs to be a championship team. But every day, I just got out of practice now, and every day we're kind of working towards it. So hopefully by the end of March, we're a little closer to a finished product.
Are you playing more zone than man this year?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been here for 17 years. I've never played a zone. I will do it maybe if we're up by a lot of points, just
okay.
But I know it's still man, but it's just again it's a half court man that we really want people to be sound in their gaps and be in good health position and recover and rebound. We have never been a big team, so our rebounding, we're not just going to get rebounds because we're physically bigger than people. So now we've really been preaching, technique and when shot goes up, what are we doing? And those kind of things we are almost on a daily basis working on. And we are rebounding a little bit better. I mean, this game against EJ, we rebounded great. The game before against Onaway, we rebounded horribly. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything we've worked on has come to fruition, but I mean, the girls definitely know because I ask questions when we get in the locker room. I don't tell. I ask questions about, okay, where we're breaking down, what do we need to do, and they're giving me the answers
that
good. I would be telling them. Yeah, so I mean, they understand it, but there can be a big gap between understanding and executing. But we're just trying to go in the right direction with it.
No, Coach. I know you've been a dedicated man-to-man defensive, but with shorter numbers and foul trouble, it might make sense to come up with a more zone concepts.
There might be a day where one of our players that we have to have on the court gets a foul trouble. We might bury her in the middle of the zone. We've felt that that like the foul trouble we were in the other day that we could still play our man. And actually, first when we dropped back we had to pull out of our press, which I don't like doing.
Yeah.
We pulled out of press at halftime. But I'll say this to the girls' credit: when we pulled out the press and just went to our half court man, the lead, which I don't know what it was at halftime, maybe 10 points, it jumped up to 30 because of our half court man.
That's great. That's good.
That is getting better, and I think you guys both know. As you move on, this press works like against teams maybe who aren't super solid or who can guard or someone who you can physically overwhelm. But championship games, as you move on, are always one in the half court. Half court offense, half court defense. That's just the way it is. So I still love up tempo on both sides, but if we want to be a team that plays later March, we have to be able to stop people in the half court. That's just the bottom line. So that's what kind of we're striving towards.
Yeah, and Coach, I've been doing basketball analyst for like 16 years in high school here now, and I tell you, nowadays a lot of mans look like zone, and a lot of zones look like man. So it's like sometimes it's really hard. They all morph together.
you're 100% right. I mean, matchup zones are kind of popular right now, and actually, a good zone, if people are doing it right, is just switching man to man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? But we I don't know. We're kind of a lot of that half court principles. If you're in good gap help and doing things the right way, somewhat translate to what we like to do in the full court. So that's why I kind of like to fall into that. But you guys are right. A mentor of mine, a guy who I really respect out of Wisconsin, who's helped me a lot. He was a big run and jump guy in high school and college, and actually in semi-pro. He would go with his run and jump full court into a matchup zone that he loved. And I'll just be truthful. I haven't learned it well enough where I feel I can effectively communicate that to my kids, like in a way that we can be really effective with it. I mean, it might work against some teams that aren't super skilled, but I just haven't learned it well enough that I feel comfortable running it against a team that has good stuff. So again, I'm learning. My kids are learning, and I'm learning. So I check the ego at the door when I walk in, because there's so much I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, knowing what I know about the girls' program at St. Mary's, Coach, I don't think you've had the athletes to play a matchup zone, especially on the wings. So,
I agree.
Yeah, but just given the overall view of it might not be bad to have a zone in your back pocket that you can.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll jump into a 2-3 or a 1-3-1 if we have to, because we actually, our girls know it, because we get zones thrown at us.
Right.
That's primarily almost all anyone plays. So whenever we can scrimmage, we have people on the other side of the ball learning a zone, so they kind of know it. But I'll be honest, I haven't taught it. I just have taught it enough so that we can scrimmage against it. But you're right. When kids get in foul trouble, you have to make good adjustments. That's called coaching, and sometimes I lack at that. I just put your head down and keep going harder, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, I think we've said man so much, and we're talking about girls basketball. I feel that we're breaking some gender-neutral rules here.
Yeah, well, person to person.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Exactly. Person to person.
Yeah, Coach, you've got Central Lake at home next week, and then on the road to Joburg as well. So it should be some pretty good matchups there.
Yeah. So we walked through a lot of Central Lake stuff today on the court. They recently made a coaching change, and their superintendent is now their coach. But apparently he's from downstate. He's a coach that brings 300 high school wins.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
So
maybe
they will be. They'll be really organized, and that's fine. I want to see teams at their best. I don't want to walk out of the gym and not have learned anything. And my kids, I think the kids would probably agree. Those games where you just walk out and you just went through the motions and still won really aren't teaching us anything for much. So we need to be challenged. We need to fail at something and learn.
Yeah, exactly. These kids, they want to be challenged, Coach. No doubt about it.
I agree.
Well, they are. They go to St. Mary's. They're challenged on a daily
Academically,
basis.
yeah, no question.
You're 100% right.
That's right.
And that goes to the quality of the kids you have in the locker room. When you're able to go in there and coach and just ask questions, and they're able to answer exactly what's going on. That again, it goes to the quality of the kid going to St. Mary's.
Right. Like I said, I don't have numbers, so I can't throw anymore. There was a time where I could throw bodies at people. Now, kids have got to understand why. Completely understand why we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
And if they're going right, they need to understand that as well. So they can, like good teams you'll see will make adjustments on the court. Yes, coaches sometimes facilitate that. But good teams, try not to let the same thing happen to them twice in a row. And
yeah.
That's goes down IQs. We're just trying to raise the IQ of the kids because we just don't have bodies to throw at people. So we gotta completely round out everyone's game. So hopefully we can play bigger, better.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you got a good thing rolling there at 7-1 at St. Mary's. Continued success, and we'll get caught up with you again in a couple of weeks.
I appreciate it very much. You guys have a great weekend.
All right.
Take care, Coach. Thank you.
Too. Pat Schultz of the Gaylord St. Mary's Ladies Snowbirds. Coach, he's done a great job there.
That girls program is a fantastic tradition. I'd like to see them get over the hump and get to a state final. They've been in the quarters quite a bit. Won a lot of conference and a lot of regionals, but haven't been able to make that final step. So
yeah, that's exactly right. You know, hopefully this year is the year. Again, 7 bodies. It's tough. Very
Sounded
tough.
like hickory.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. Yeah, coming up next, we're going to talk to Sean Finnegan from Traverse City St. Francis. He's got a little Catholic tournament going on over there at St. Francis, so we'll get a few words of wisdom from him. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Sarah Ford in Gaylord and Kalkaska kicks off 2025 with super lease deals that you can't pass up. Like a 2024 Ford Bronco Sport for an astounding $345 per month with any trade-in. Sarah has amazing lease deals on the fantastic Ford Escape as low as just $289 per month with your trade-in. Slightly higher for non-Ford employees. Visit Sarah Ford in Gaylord or Kalkaska to find the best price, best rates, and best vehicle selection in the north. Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Kalkaska. Sarah tease it.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace is the only hardware retailer that carries Benjamin Moore paint at over 3,800 stores. With Benjamin Moore's premium quality, you can be confident you're getting the best. You can buy in store or order what you need online for curbside pickup or delivery. When you want the best, Benjamin Moore paint from Ace at participating stores.
Stop into McLean's Ace Hardware on South James Street in Grayling. Knowledgeable, friendly, and community-focused. McLean's Ace Hardware. Get in, get out, get on with your project.
Pioneer Hills Marine in Roscommon is hiring entry-level service technicians. If you have basic technical ability and are looking for seasonal or part-time work, this job is for you. We offer on-the-job training, competitive wages, and a culture dedicated to our staff and customers. Entry-level service technicians. If interested, you can apply in person or visit pioneerhillsmarine.com. pioneerhillsmarine.com. Pioneer Hills Marine is an equal opportunity employer.
Home sweet home, right? You've spent a lot more time there in the last 3 years, and you may even work from home now. You check smoke detectors, furnace filters, and for carbon monoxide. Have you checked your radon levels? Radon is the leading cause of lung cancer behind smoking. Radon is an odorless radioactive gas present in all homes, and no family should be at risk when you can reduce your radon exposure. Test now, test regularly. Learn where to get a test kit at michigan.gov/radon. Sponsored by Eagle and MAB.
First comes love when she says yes with a sparkling Wexford Jewelers engagement ring. Then comes marriage, an anniversary gift so extraordinary that it can't be found anywhere else other than Wexford Jewelers. Impeccably curated designs and original pieces skillfully made with our very own hands right here in Michigan. With a WJ piece, you'll make her smile, we'll make her shine.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is the head coach of Traverse City St. Francis, Sean Finnegan. And Sean, you got your first annual Catholic school tournament going on at St. Francis this weekend.
You bet. Yeah, it's been a great turnout of teams. Real good talent here, and it's been a fun start so far.
Yeah, Coach, it looks like, you came up on the short end of a 68-61 score against Kalamazoo Hackett Catholic Prep, but talk about that game a little bit.
Well, they came into the game 8-1, ranked 7th in the state.
Yep.
They had good length, good athleticism, and good shooters, which was proven last night. I think they missed one free throw, and they made 8 or 9 threes against us, which all seemed to be at probably the most inopportune times. But I was proud of our boys. Tuesday up at Petoskey, we had played a team that I think we could beat or at least compete with, and a little bit of adversity, and we crumbled, and the wheels not only fell off but went flying down the road. And last night it was a good game. We started out great, I thought. But we were down 11-2. But we were doing. I didn't want to call timeout because the ball was moving. Things were going well. We just couldn't finish at the rim. But we had good flow, good intensity, and then third quarter they had a good push there, and I think the most we were down at one point there, I think was 6.5 left. We were down 21.
And that would have been a real opportune time for a young, inexperienced team to throw it in. And to be honest, again, proud of the boys. I made it clear I don't care what the score is. You know, we don't have a league. We don't have anything other than getting ready for March. And, you know, we were in a position to just say, don't worry about score. Focus on one possession at a time. Get better at what we do. Execute on offense. Defend one at a time. And, you know, we slowly started chipping away. We had a sophomore, Jake Bixby, who we've known all year can really score. He had led us with 20 last night, but I don't think he's had more than 2 or 3 points in a game yet at this point.
Oh, wow.
Just kind of working through some of that confidence. Just had to see it go in a few times. And got it going in the fourth quarter there, and you know, we made a little run. We got it back to 3 points with a minute and a half left. And, you know, at that point in the game, it comes down to free throws. And like I said, they made all but one throughout the game. And it was a good battle for us, a real good battle. Really proud of how the boys played. I mean, that was a good Kalamazoo Hackett team. And, you know, like I said, we could have easily, you know, a young, inexperienced team could have easily shut it down at some point there. And when, you know, down 21 was in the fourth quarter, certainly a time when a lot of teams might think it's over, and we kept battling. And even still, I mean, there were times we got to where we were within 6, and there was one stretch there, they hit 3 straight threes and 2 floaters in the paint. I mean, 13 points in a row, and it was just like every time we scratched close, they would hit another 3, and it was like, geez, just keep plugging away, keep plugging away. And you know, like I said, we proud of how we played. You know, we were, after watching the film last night, we had a couple possessions where, man, if we just hit that shot or we hit that shot, we have a real chance to make that thing, you know, a one-possession game with 3 minutes left, and then you don't know what can happen. So, yeah, it was good for us, and like with any of this, you know, we got 3 good schools here in our gym, opportunity to play 2 of them at our place. I mean, can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, Coach, you guys are back at it just in a couple of hours against Saginaw Nouvelle. What, I mean, they got housed by Lumen Christi. Was that just Lumen Christi's night, or?
Well, it was a single-digit game. When we went in the locker room with 7 minutes left in the fourth, I think Lumen Christi was only up 4.
Oh, wow.
And then we did our pregame and came out, and it's like, how much time? Oh, a minute and a half. Like, okay, and what's the score? Lumen Christi's up 15. Like, well, that flipped. So I didn't see exactly what happened, but I do know they've got some kids that can shoot. They weren't hitting shots in the first half. I know the coach's son can really fill it up from outside, and he went 5 for 7 in the second half from 3. So I'm sure a few of those were in that stretch there, and you know, they pulled away. But you know, they're undefeated, ranked number 2 in the state right now. And Nouvelle, gosh, they're coming in, they're 5 and 3. I would have never believed it, because they've got great athletes, good size, good length. They don't shoot it the best from outside, so hopefully we don't have a repeat of last night with a bunch of threes going in against us. But you know, they play hard. Again, good length, good athleticism, good size. It's going to be a different type of matchup, but another good opportunity for us.
Well, just as a quick announcement to all the gym rats that are listening to this show, right. You might want to head over to St. Francis and see 2 really good basketball games for the price of 1. 1 o'clock today, and then obviously that Hackett Lumen Christi is going to be worth the price of admission by itself.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we're only charging $5 at the door, and we've got our freshmen wrapping up playing against Hackett right now. Hackett's JV freshman group here, and our JV team's going to play Nouvelle's JV team next, and then the varsity start at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and then Coach, you have all these quality teams in your Catholic tournament here, and then in 3 weeks you're going to have the showcase there at St. Francis, where you've got Hamtramck, Wayne Memorial, Cavs Tech, all these schools coming in too. So a lot of quality basketball teams coming up here in northern Michigan.
Yeah, you know, we were joking last night. You know, maybe I just keep running events, because I found a way to get good teams to come up here. Now we just got to start beating a couple of them maybe, but you know, we're getting them to come up here, so that's a good start.
Okay, I'm going to fix you up with Brother Rice, Coach. I don't know why this hasn't happened yet.
Well, I'm always looking for another team to come to the showcase and/or this Catholic tournament. We're going to keep it going, and I do plan to kind of take one or two teams each year and mix it up. I know Grand Rapids Catholic Central's interested in coming next year, so maybe Brother Rice would want to come join that. And, we invite the winner back, and then slot some teams each year.
Yeah. No, that's a whole lot of fun, Coach. I've been there a couple of years doing it. I'll be there with West as they take on Wayne Memorial this year as well, and it's just that is such a great high school tournament for Northern Michigan. It's got to be more and more packed every year.
Yeah, and that's why we do it, right? Why do we coach? We coach for the kids to create opportunities, and and then to be able to add the opportunity for our community to have good basketball for not only our kids but the community to come enjoy and appreciate right up here in Northern Michigan. That's the more and more people come, that just means we're doing something right.
Coach, some of this, I mean, obviously you've been doing the showcase for a few years now, and now you've created this. This is obviously born out of being an independent. You're trying to fill out your own schedules now, right?
Yeah, last spring when I put together our schedule, the mindset was, well, we have a lot of opportunity for creativity, and I considered running a second showcase in December, but Elk Rapids wanted to run one with their new gym, so fine, you run it. We'll come to you.
Right.
But it's fun. It's fun to be able to get some new teams up here. It was funny last night. I set up Lumen Christie's parents and players and coaches all go over to the Eagles Club where we normally hide out after our games to get dinner and maybe have an adult beverage or two, and they really enjoyed that. You can tell, we were looking at some of the parents at the game last night, like some of these parents aren't dressed up for a basketball game. They're dressed up to go downtown Traverse City or go to the casino after. So I think the parents are enjoying the opportunity to come north for a weekend too.
Well, you can shove a whole bunch of boys in the hotel room and get out. It's a free babysitting. So
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Sean, you're doing a great job hosting these tournaments, and you've got a young, growing team there. Looking forward to talking to you in the next couple of weeks, and definitely seeing you at the showcase.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. As always, thanks for the call, thanks for the time and support, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Sean Finnegan from Traverse City St. Francis.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get him in touch with Rick Palmer.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, for all of a sudden developing all these connections now.
Well, I mean, I don't know why he hasn't had a Catholic. It could be Brother Rice, could be Catholic Central. UAD is the #1 ranked team in the state this year, and you got Orchard Lake St. Mary's. So it's not like there's not quality Catholic competition throughout the state.
For sure. And like you said,
Orchard Lake St. Mary's defending state champion.
Yeah. So. And then looking at Coach's schedule, they're being a true independent now. They're a Division III team. They're going to play Cadillac, a Division I school, Big Rapids Division II, Gaylord Division II, Marquette Division II. So Hamtramck, all of these schools. So again, that's who's on his regular schedule now, because again, knowing that, hey, he wants to have these kids have the experience of playing quality teams to ready them for the tournament.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And kudos to Coach Finnegan.
Yeah.
For getting this a much broader look at Northern Michigan basketball, because it doesn't get the light that it should.
It doesn't. No, you're absolutely right. That's what I brought a buddy of mine last year to the tournament.
Yeah.
You were there, and he still talks about that, how he enjoyed it, because he loves quality high school basketball. He had so much fun there watching those kids play in the couple of games that we took in. And so he'll definitely be back, and then he'll tell some other guys, and hopefully there'll be a group of them coming over to watch it. And how cool is it, too, one of the oldest gyms in Northern Michigan?
Yeah, I was going to say something to Coach, like, kudos to you, Coach, because that gym is a piece of crap.
It really is. It's a hickory all over.
There's no doubt about it. That's not the appeal.
No, it is not.
Bad parking, bad sight lines.
Oh yeah, you name it. Everything. The old cement bleachers and I spent more time walking around the gym than sitting. Yeah, you got to move a little bit. Yeah, if you got any joint issues, back issues, stuff like, you got to give it up and move for sure. And he told me something I didn't know. Elk Rapids has a new gym because I've called a lot of games there with that ceiling, that drop ceiling they had there that's not very high. I mean, so many times balls would hit that ceiling tiles up there at the old Elk Rapids gym. So I got to take in a game over there to check out their new facilities for sure.
Just for bookkeeping purposes, tonight here on Up North Sports Radio, the Detroit Pistons, the 19-19 Detroit Pistons,
that's right,
take on the Toronto Raptors. So they will probably. The Raptors are only 8-30.
Yeah,
so Pistons can move back into the winning column, and if they do so, they would be in the play-in tournament if all things are. This is an improved Pistons team, folks.
Oh,
so
it is. Yeah. So you guys, you got to take in a game because again, it's so much better than in years past.
Yeah.
A Cade Cunningham that's maturing before your very eyes, and guys that can shoot the rock and. It just is. It's a lot more fun watching these Piston games right now, for sure. All right, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Join us again next week, right at 10 o'clock. You've been listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
This has been the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord for stress-free car shopping. Join us next Saturday at 10 with host Rich Calkins. Nobody loves high school sports like Up North Sports Radio.
What level are they at? Jordan Love early in the week, was like, trying to play like he wasn't sure he was going to play in this game. I never bought that, and I did the bookmakers with some of the lines that are out there. I think this game though is going to be low scoring. I look at the total last check, 45.5. It's not the lowest total of the week. I think that belongs to the Steelers and the Ravens by a half point or so. But think about Josh Jacobs, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. I mean, like who can actually effectively come up with the big pass play at some point in this game? You said no Christian Watson, and that's exactly right. Like that's where I struggle with Green Bay. I think Philadelphia is going to key in on Josh Jacobs quite a bit. I think Green Bay may try to slow down Barkley. I don't know how often you're going to do that. You can do it for a half, or are you going to do it in the third quarter? Are you going to do it in the fourth quarter? But who can come up with that big pass play or two in the game? And that's where I kind of lean Philly. It's not that I think Jalen Hurts is just way better quarterback than Love, but I know I got A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. And so who's more likely to have opportunities down the field? I just think it's going to be Philly, and that might be what it takes. And otherwise, pretty evenly matched game. So I guess to sum up how I would bet it if I was forced to, now that it's at 5.5, I'd be intrigued to take the half point up to 6. But this is not one where like I'm, if I bet it at all, it's going to be a sprinkle. It might even be a live betting opportunity. If Green Bay were to get up 7-0, that might be a great spot for me to suddenly bet Philly.
Yeah, I love the idea of the live bet on this game. I'm just leaning toward taking the Packers in points here. I've liked them all season, and I like their portable game on the road in the playoffs as well. I just think, as good as Philly's defense is, and I expect them to win the game, by the way. I think it's going to be tight, but I think they will win. They've shown some creaks at times here in the final month. I mean, I watched them in person give up 40 points and 5 touchdowns to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, basically like a little over a half a football. I don't know. I get how good they are. And when I ask people, I'm like, what am I missing? Well, talk me out of the Packers here. Because I was even thinking about the Packers on the money line. And 2 things keep coming back to me from the people that I trust. One is, well, you're missing how good Philly is. And I go, okay, that's fair. They're excellent. The other, though, is, well, Christian Watson's out. What? Like Christian Watson being talked about as this like game-changing presence. People are watching different Packers team than I am. There were 6 games this year where he made any kind of a real impact with explosive
he's been
plays.
Banged up, yeah.
I mean, if you look at his season, he does not have a catch in either of their last 2 games. He has 2 total targets, played in both of those games. He did not catch a pass when they beat San Francisco 38-10. He caught 1 pass for 9 yards when they beat the Texans. He didn't catch a pass when they scored 30 against the Vikings in the first month of the year. Literally, there have been 6 games where he really impacted the game. So I'm just not viewing that. Is it easier and better if he's out there because he can take the lid off? Of course. That dimension's massive. But to me, if you want to say Green Bay's in trouble, it's got to be because you don't think Jordan Love is 100% or something like that. Do they still have Josh Jacobs? That defense still going to be a tough customer? I just think they're going to be in the game. I think it'll be tight, but I agree. The Eagles ultimately win. I'm leaning toward Packers plus 5.5. Don't have
I'll
a play
say
on
real
that
quick.
right now. Yeah.
I'll say real quick, I mentioned live betting and what happens if the Packers get up? Is that a betting spot? Here's one thing you got to be leery of. I think if the Eagles get up at all early in this game, this is just a trend that's out there that some of these just stand out and you're like, wow, you can't believe how successful these have been. And there's so many factors. I'm not saying to blindly bet off of trends. You and I have acknowledged that over and over. But under Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia's 14-0